Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Noble honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. This is Brother Taza Pai with another lesson. And this lesson, I want to go into a video that I just stumbled across earlier today, but it actually lines up with the video that I did Monday, in which I titled U.S. Foreign Policy in a Nutshell. All right. And in that video, I was covering U.S. foreign policy. All right. As you know, they go on their conquest for the elite. But this video here goes into the elite's overall strategy for global dominance. All right. And it's their foreign policy. All right. In a nutshell, the elites. All right. Foreign policy in general. And the video is referring to Africa. All right. In particular, I believe Burkina Faso. All right. They're showing them in the background. But as you listen to the actual video, see how many similarities that you find concerning us as Israelites here in America. All right. And when I say us as Israelites, I'm referring to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans predominantly. All right. Here in America. See how much of this video actually pertains to us. All right. And it's because it's the method that they use to control and conquer. All right. But we're going to kick it off here in Habakkuk chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 5. Let's see. Yeah. We start at verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right. And for the few to control the masses, there has to be, some type of ideology, if you will, a type of method that they employ. Well, this video gives you that method. All right. We're gonna look at it and break it down. So I'm gonna play it through, and then we might go back and just break it down.
If you wanted to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, you wouldn't have to invent a new strategy. The blueprint has already been written, tested, and perfected over centuries. You'd start by making sure Africa never unites. The easiest way to do that is by keeping people divided along ethnic, tribal, and religious lines. If they ever start working together, remind them of past grievances. Stoke old wounds. Fund separatist movements. Keep border disputes unresolved. Make sure every time they take one step forward, they take 2 steps back because they're too busy fighting each other. You'd install leaders who serve foreign interests, not their people. Find the most corrupt, the most easily manipulated, the ones who crave wealth and status more than progress. Offer them power in exchange for loyalty. If a leader rises who actually cares about Africa, get rid of them. Assassinate them if necessary. But if that's too messy, just destabilize their government and back a coup. If they talk about nationalizing resources, make an example out of them. If they try to unite Africa, take them out before the idea spreads. You'd keep Africa economically weak by making sure it never industrializes. Let them export raw materials but never process them themselves. Control the mines, the oil fields, the rare earth minerals. Keep them selling cheap and buying expensive. If a country tries to break free and build its own industries, sabotage it. Place sanctions, destabilize its currency, fund local opposition, crash its economy. If that doesn't work, orchestrate a civil war. People can't build when they're too busy trying to survive. You'd make sure their education system produces workers, not innovators. Teach them history that glorifies their oppressors. Make them think their cultures are primitive. Their ancestors were savages. Their future depends on foreign approval. Train them to memorize, not to think critically. Keep their best and brightest looking overseas for opportunities. Make them dream of escaping Africa rather than fixing it. Offer scholarships that take their top minds to the West and never encourage them to return. Let the continent keep training doctors and engineers only for them to go enrich other nations. You'd control their narratives. Own their media. Control their stories. Dictate their image to the world. Make them believe they are corrupt, hopeless, eternally in crisis. Flood their screens with poverty porn and war zones. Show them charity ads that make them believe they are helpless without foreign aid. Downplay their successes. Twist their victories into isolated incidents. If an African country develops a groundbreaking innovation, credit a foreign investor. If an African leader implements a successful policy, frame it as an anomaly rather than proof of competence. You'd make sure they remain dependent. Drown them in debt. Offer loans with impossible conditions. Force them to privatize everything so foreign corporations own their water, their electricity, their land. When they struggle, give them just enough aid to keep them alive, but never enough to make them self-sufficient. Use charities to create a culture of reliance. If you wanted to stop Africa from becoming...
And it was more, and this is one of the issues, with TikTok. But, I just have to see if I can find the rest of that video. Or, that's the issue with these shorts, man. They just cut them off. But we got enough. We get the picture, and it's definitely enough for a lesson. And so we're going to go back and break a little of this down. But I want you to see why I went to Habakkuk 2:5. All right? As it says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine. Right? His doctrines, his ideologies, his philosophies are the wine that the scriptures are referring to right here. All right? The methods in which he lives by, he transgresses by them. Okay? And as you heard, all of that shit was wicked. And that's his policy. That is his wine. We could throw policies in there, That's his wine. Doctrines, ideologies, philosophies, policies, penal codes, all of that, he transgresses by them. All right? Because he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home. See? He don't keep at home because he's busy in everybody else's country, minding their business for them. And the leader, Abraham, for those who know, Ibrahim, however he pronounces it, what was I going to say? Well, he was approached. We will get into that in the well, he wasn't approached, but he had received a call from Trump. We're going to get into that when we go and break this video down. But as you see, he's standing up for his country, for his people, and that's a major problem. And the reason why that's a problem, because for one, they are greedy. As the scripture said, I believe that's Psalm 73. Let me look real quick. Was that? I know it has something. But, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go here. Oh, man, Esau getting caught up, bro. I'm going to start at verse 5. This is Psalm 73:5. It says, they are not in trouble as other men. Right, and we see this with the whole Epstein shit. That list ain't never came out and never will come out because they are not in trouble as other men. But yet, on the court circus, you got Diddy, Shannon Sharp getting ready to go to trial, all connected. Who else I was just seeing? Esau got you covered. He got you covered in the distraction arena. And that's another way they keep us oppressed, by distraction, entertainment here in America. See, over in the East, they ain't got time for ball games. Goddamn, I'm going to go to the concert. Oh, I'm going to go to the Essence Festival. They don't got all that shit over there. Them people, they struggling, all right? And it don't even have to be financially, but, they got issues. They have real issues in their country. Not that some of them don't. I'm not saying that people overseas don't enjoy a little entertainment, but for the most part, man, the whole globe is in an uproar. Except here in America, y'all still, boy, this people here is so gone, so far gone. All right. But you look at people around the world, they're fighting for their freedom. They're standing up. They're saying enough is enough. But right here, let's get back to this Psalm 73 and 5. It says they are the very elite, all right, whose policy that has been implemented around the world to keep them in power, or that has kept them in power. All right, but what we're finding is that their power structure is breaking down. And that's because the Lord, who had empowered them on the left-hand side, all right, giving them sinister powers, sinister, as we say, spiritual powers, all right. Esau and the elite, or the elite of Esau, have been granted sinister spiritual powers. All right. And that's how they rule. And so that's how they come up with this stuff, man. Some of that stuff is clever. I mean, shit. Is have them looking overseas for opportunities. You know, offer them, it said, offer them scholarships, you know, to schools outside of the country, you know, and pretty much incentivize them not to return. All right. And not just for any and everybody, offer the scholarships to the best and the brightest. And what does that do? That removes the light from among the people. Those who may be educated enough to speak on behalf of the people and say, hold on, none of this makes sense. All right? Because when you're constantly working, it's not that you don't have time to understand things and break things down. They get you caught up in cycles. Well, at least here in Babylon. All right? Here in Babylon, we got, bill cycles. And that's what keep us on the treadmill. It's power in breaking out of the bill cycle. But I don't care how fucking rich you are in America, your ass is paying bills. Unless you up that special club that George Carlin spoke of. When he said, it's one big club, all right, and we ain't in it. All right, and you ain't in it. So, all right, right, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain. All right. Yeah, their pride. So it compasseth them about as a chain. They're wrapped up in it. Their very pride has become the thing that has imprisoned them. All right. They're a slave to their very pride. And the pride is what's going to get them destroyed. Well, their absolute wickedness, of course, but it's their pride that, keep them from repenting and saying, you know what, this ain't right. No, they go full steam ahead in their pride, all right? Well, how does Scripture say that? Well, let me see something right quick. Well, no, that's something else. I was thinking about a precept, but right, this devil, he's in a predicament right now, all right? He's in straits, and his pride is what got him there, all right? And he's not getting out of it. Even the Scripture speaks about them not being in trouble as other men. A lot of that is beginning to even falter. Because you see them now because they scrambling. A lot of them is scrambling. A lot of these Edomites. But at the very top, they still have that insulation. They still have that cushion to get away with things. But the lower levels, you know, this is why they starting to head underground. You know, but anyway, it says, and this is the point, verse 7. Well, let's get 6 again. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. All right. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. All right. And so this is speaking to his covetous nature. He had more than he could even deal with. He has wealth just sitting collecting dust. I'm not just talking, I'm talking about piles of money. He got that too. There's worthless Federal Reserve notes. But this man has pallets upon pallets of gold bars. Like warehouse, like if you go to a warehouse, say a tire warehouse. And this tire stack is, you know, from front to back in that warehouse. Well, these people got gold and silver storehouses. Literally pallets of gold. You know? But that ain't enough. They got to go to Burkina Faso. They got to go to Sierra Leone. They got to go into Ghana. They got to go into all of those Western Coast countries. Well, shit, all of Africa. I ain't just going, all of Africa. They in the DR, Congo, DR, you know, which that same coup that they was talking about, well, they pulled that in the DR, in the Congo. The Congo got one of them corrupt leaders, taking advantage, exploiting his people. And this is the MO of the white man, Esau, Edom. All right? It says their eyes stand out with fatness. You know, somebody see something look good to them, their eyes get big. That's Esau. His eyes stand out with fatness. He said, man, I got to get over that. We got to get that. We got to get that lithium. We got to get that gold. You know? We got to get that ivory and that rubber. You know? And this is what he does. And as I said, even here in America, we felt the oppression of his policy, of his wine that he transgresses by. All right? So it says their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. But yet it's not enough, because what is it about now? You know, I forget. Yeah, Lil' Kim said first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect. I forget the order. That shit was in the 90s. But yeah, I believe money, power, respect. But anyway, that's what Esau, he don't give a damn about your respect. That's why he's in the shadow. You don't know who he is to respect him. He don't give a damn about your respect. Because he know, shit, he can make you do what he wants you to do. You know, who need respect when you have that type of power? And that's what they want. They want the power. The whole point about these resources is that they have the capability of empowering their people. That would be a problem for this devil. Even though he got money he can't spend, he doesn't need the money. He wants to maintain the control over the populace of Africa, because him and his family eating good. Yeah, that's why they got pallets of gold. They don't have to touch it. They live off of we are the human resources. They live off of us. They got us generating everything that they need. All right? Like I was explaining about the student loan that I had. Shit, they was taking money out of my income tax return. Should have been paid off decades ago. But as in true devil form, they take your money, and no, they don't put it on the principal. They put it on the interest. And these are the tactics of a fucking devil. You know? And you know, shit, I pretty much live paycheck to paycheck my whole life. You know, you have some time when you be up. And that shit don't last. That's Babylon. I'm an Israelite. This shit, you know, I'm under these curses. That shit, I'm talking about in the world. You know? You up and then shit. You flat on your ass. You know? That's life for the Israelite man in Babylon. You know, you win some, you lose some. You roll with the punches. You have to learn to be malleable and adaptable here. And that's one thing that Babylon has taught me. All right? You can't be rigid because you break. Right? When you rigid, you break. Be flexible. All right? Yeah, the buildings, them skyscrapers, they flex. They sway. They swerve. You don't see it, but if they was just rigid, you know, them skyscrapers couldn't stand for all of them decades and decades and decades. You know, and that's just, you know, a little example. But yeah, getting back to this, these devils got all of this money, man. And so don't think you know that it's about the money. And it's the same way with us here in America. It's about the control. You see? And so this is why, let's look at the video again. You know, let's break it down.
If you wanted to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, you wouldn't have to invent a new strategy. The blueprint has already been written, tested, and perfected.
So the blueprint, right? The blueprint. So this is like, they got it down to a science. It's cookie cutter. What would you, oppression. You just call it that. Cookie cutter oppression. We got to approach. And if one don't work, we got, you know, a few tactics we can employ. But let's get into it.
Over centuries. You'd start by making sure Africa never unites. The easiest way...
Now, ain't that what they do to us? We seen it done in Africa. We see it done in other countries. We definitely see it done here in America. They don't want us to unite. And that was a thing even in Jim Crow. Don't let them niggas congregate. You couldn't congregate more than 3 or 4 people. And go on your job. Pay attention at your job. All right? You see the Mexicans get together, they can huddle up and talk on the clock. Esau can damn sure huddle up and talk on the clock. But you get with a group of brothers, I'm not saying brothers, but a group of niggas, you know, so you can understand. You don't have to, I'm not saying niggas in a derogatory sense, but just so you can know a group of black folk, a group of Israelites, you can't congregate. If they see you, they gonna come and your supervisor gonna come bust it up. I seen that shit too many times. But they don't fuck with Issachar, the so-called Mexican. They damn sure ain't gonna fuck with Esau. You know, unless it lingers for too long. But like, they won't let us even come together for a minute or two. And yeah, in my early days, I used to think it's about productivity. But then I was watching, I was like, they only do that to us as black folk. You know, these are the things. Some of it is subconscious, but some of it go back to these policies. All right.
To do that is by keeping people divided along ethnic, tribal, and religious lines.
Don't they do that to us? They brought the southern kingdom, well, the northern. They brought the northern kingdom from South and Central America up to North America, and that was to basically get us to kill each other. I just recently found out, they was sending MS-13 up to Chicago in hopes that them niggas up there, vice lords and gangster disciples, all them niggas they would get into it. Not knowing that these are y'all some of the same people. Because they don't want it's power in us coming together. It's definitely power. This is the supreme power with us coming together on the note of the truth. All right? On behalf of the truth coming together, Israelites coming together on behalf of speaking truth, this is definitely what he cannot have. All right? And you're getting ready to see a famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You're about to see it. Because this thing here in Burkina Faso, if they let it go on, it exposes the blueprint. Well, it will do that, but the blueprint really, a lot of people already know it. They just feel powerless to do anything. It ain't like it's a big secret now. But the thing about it is, it gives the other countries a new blueprint. And that's what they can't afford. All right? To empower any country, but the one making the most smoke right now is Burkina Faso. There are others, but them people serious. Man, I seen videos, they say that Ibrahim, the people, his people, 2,000 strong come camp out around his house. Make sure he good, and they take shifts. Make sure, like we did in the ancient world, we took watches. They take watches, all right? Because I believe those are Israelites. And they keeping him safe as best they can, all right? It's been reported alleged assassination attempts on him, Ibrahim Traore. I think 2 others went out before him, and I'm sure it probably more than that, but the leader before him was assassinated by his best friend. All right, then I saw a video saying that Esau got to Ibrahim's bodyguard, his number one security guy, and this is allegedly, but they was gonna set him up good. The security guy, just as you're gonna hear in the video, to pop the man while he was praying, to shoot him while he was praying. Now that's allegedly, but that's the MO of Esau. That's his MO. All right? Whether it went down like that, we know they trying to take him out. All right? And it ain't just France. Macron came out and said, we have no intent on pulling out of Africa. No, motherfucker. No, this ain't up to you no more. This a new motherfucking day. And that's what that's signifying. This is a new day, and y'all ain't calling shit no more. And the thing about it, they ready to shed blood. Something niggas over here ain't ready to do. They was ready in the 60s, in the 70s until what? Mr. Peace came through. Oh, I have a dream we gonna get along. Get your... And that fucked us up to this day. to this day, which allowed them to bring in the Jesse Jackson and the Al Sharpton, just like the video said. Give them leaders that's in our pocket. You see? But right, if they allow, which now that shit, they didn't, Burkina Faso done teamed up with Russia and shit. Man, it's about to be on. That's all I can say. And I'm talking about throughout the world. This is just one incident. You still got Ukraine and Russia. You still got Israel and Palestine, them Palestinians, which ain't much of a fight. But right, if well, they are, and not no if, they are. Burkina Faso is giving the rest of Africa a new blueprint to go by to say, you know what? Fuck this goddamn white boy. And he said, Africa is for Africa. Now, well, let's play the video.
If they ever start working together,
well, he said, what's for Africa is for Africa. You know? And the only reason they couldn't say that before, because I believe them were Israelites, and they was under the curses. So they had to get their ass kicked too. But now, man, we getting ready to, we about to blow up, like Martin said. As a people. Well, like Martin used to say, we about to blow up. Man, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai is getting ready to do some big things, all right, in this world. He's, because if they pull this off, well, what's going to stop the rest of Africa saying, you know what, we should be doing the same thing.
Past grievances, stoke old wounds, fund separatist movements, keep border disputes unresolved, make sure every time they take one step forward, they take
border disputes unresolved. What's going on in the south border? Even up Canada. Border chaos. Border chaos. And keep this in mind. To the elite, we are foreign. So they are using foreign policy on us. The elite don't live in no fucking America. They may have places to stay in. I'm quite sure they have places to stay in America, but they don't stay in America. They come on business or they want to visit, whatever, and they burn out. They don't stay here. Nobody in their right mind with resources would want to stay in America. Unless you out remote somewhere, it'd be cool. But among the populace, it's the most ignorant people in captivity in Babylon. The most ignorant. You know, because they just driven by the flesh. They don't think, which is what the video said, because they were never taught how. And everybody's in survival mode. So you get a lot of just stupid shit being done because people going through life not thinking. Grown-ass men. I'd expect that from women, and especially children, but grown-ass men going through life crashing out. Shannon Sharpe. Not thinking. Well, he got himself in that predicament long before this shit took place. Right? Not using your head. Being weak out here. You can't be weak with money. That's a show recipe for disaster. You weak with money. Pussy weak with money. Well, them women see you coming from goddamn El Segundo. You know, but this is what goes on in Babylon. All right. And this is the overall foreign policy of the elite.
2 steps back because they're too busy fighting each other. You'd install leaders who serve foreign interests, not their people.
And that's what I meant. Leaders, you install leaders that serve foreign interests, not the interests of their very own people. Okay? And that's been going on throughout Africa, decades, if not centuries. All right, because you're talking about going back to Leopold. You know, the Britain, man, it's a good ass video too. But this has been going on for a while. But there's a video which shows all of the really the 10 toes in the parts of Africa that they taken over, and it was mainly the 10 toes. Yeah, that'll be my next lesson, Lord will. It was all them European nations that are the 10 toes. They got a foothold in Africa somewhere. All of them. I think it's all of them. I'm trying to remember if it might be 8 out of 10. All right, 8 or 9 out of 10 of the 10 toes. They've been oppressing and exploiting the people of Africa using these same tactics. Now, here in America, as I mentioned, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, this is who they give us, who serve foreign interests. They don't serve our interests. Them niggas lining their pockets doing the bidding of their masters. You know, and even, you know, with that old Black Conscious movement, they infiltrated that, infiltrated the Black Panthers. All right, and the apostles know what time it is. That's why Apostle Tahar said, you know, be aware of agents within your camps, because this is how the white man rolls. He infiltrates to destroy from within. All right?
Find the most corrupt, the most easily manipulated, the ones who crave wealth and status more than progress. Offer them power in exchange for loyalty. If a leader rises who actually cares about Africa, get rid of them. Assassinate them if necessary.
Right. And again, we know about Africa, but right, if a leader emerges that care about his people, take them out. Malcolm X. And again, I mentioned Martin Luther King, which he was set up by the so-called white man to deceive us, but I believe, you know, well, I'll just put it like this, all right? His conscience was getting the better of him, all right? And right before they took him out, he had made this, he's on record for the quote, I have led my people into a burning house, right? And people still burning up in that very same house. People still in that same house that you set on fire, that you led them into. And they still up in there burning up. Under that MLK spell. Now, our leaders who rose up on behalf of us, they're under divine protection. And I'm talking about the apostles, the bishops, the elders, and all the brothers. But they're not concerned with us. You always go for the top. You smite the head, or smite the shepherd, the sheep will scatter. You know? So, and so why they say heavy is the head that wears the crown. People always want to be the top dog. That you don't know the gravity, the responsibility, the obligations that come with being the top man. All right? But our leaders are under divine protection. But for these These other guys out here, yeah, they just take them out. They took out Malcolm, X'd him out. They X'd out Malcolm X, all right? Crossed out Martin Luther King. I'm trying to think. Who? Shit. You go into some of these other movements. Khalid Muhammad. He got poisoned. Shit. It's a whole slew of them. All right, we're gonna be on here all day, but let's go.
But if that's too messy, just destabilize their government and back a coup. If they talk about national, you'd install leaders who serve foreign interests, not their people. Find the most corrupt, the most easily manipulated, the ones who crave wealth and status more than progress. Offer them power in exchange for loyalty. If a leader rises who actually cares about Africa, get rid of them.
And you know a nigga with a perm, quick to sell his people out. Both Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton had the classic Jerry Curl. He first came out. Big Jerry Curl, Kentucky Fried Chicken eating nigga. And Jesse Jackson always had that little conk. You know? So he saw, no, yeah, we got these niggas. When a nigga got a perm, you know he like money and status.
Assassinate them if necessary. But if that's too messy, just destabilize their government and back a coup. If they talk about nationalizing resources, make an example out of them. If they try to unite Africa, take them out.
They talk about nationalizing resources, make an example out of them. Remember, like I said, this is overall policy. They're talking about Africa. I'm talking about this man's global oppressive regime. All right, his oppressive empire. All right. Remember Saddam Hussein? They didn't just kill him, right? They made an example of him and his sons. You know, I didn't even think the shit was real when I saw it. I said, man, this got to be, they bullshitting. You know, and still to this day, I don't know, but the point was made. And that's the main thing. The point was made. And what was Saddam's mistake? It wasn't because he had weapons of mass. Well, they said that he was brutalizing his people using, what did they say he was? But the same MO. They say, oh, he's brutalizing his people. He's an oppressive dictator to his people. He, you know, they set him up. Y'all put him in there. The issue came when he said, we want the euro for our oil, which would have sent ripples through the whole financial system because of the petrodollar. That would have affected the petrodollar. You know, it would have lost some value. Now, how much we never will know, because they not only took him out and made an example of him, but his sons as well. Fast forward, what, 2010, 11, 12? I had to go back, don't quote me on this year, but Libya. You're talking about the Obama administration, specifically through the state Secretary of State Clinton, Hillary Clinton. And they went in, same thing, Gaddafi. People loved him in Libya. He was as popular as Ibrahim. You know, if not more, because what? He did for his people. They had shit set up so smooth, and man, it's impressive to me. Some of the things that they can accomplish in Africa is such a rich land that even after centuries of oppression, you can come up. Like Burkina Faso, just among the people, got up $2 billion to put toward the debt, their national debt. And that's just them raising up out of oppression and saying, you know what? Well, under his leadership, Abraham Traore's leadership, he said, you know what, we're gonna get some money up. Everybody, give what y'all can. We're gonna pay these people, and we're gonna get our own thing rolling. All right. So this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. And Esau can't stand it. But well, let's go back.
Before the idea of spreading resources, make an example out of them. If they try to unite Africa, take them out before the idea.
So yeah, they made an example out of Saddam Hussein, and they made an example out of Gaddafi. Which Gaddafi had no bad reports. They had it going on. Free healthcare, free school, college. Not just you going to public school getting taught lies. You go to college for free. Help you get your house. Like you can live like a man in Libya. Because Gaddafi knew this shit right here. He said, oh, no. You're not going overseas to get educated. We got free education for you right here. He incentivized the people to stay there, because they could flourish in their own country, just right there. And they did, and they were, until the coup was staged. Gaddafi was assassinated. Now, they tried to do it to Bashar al-Assad, but Russia was with him and helped him. They tried to do it in Syria. They were going to make an example out of Bashar al-Assad. But he was offered asylum in Russia and shit. Who wouldn't take that? Who knows what he's dealing with over there, or even if he's still there. But this is what they do. And they came out and said there's 7 countries that must go. And I think I can name them. But it was Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, I believe. Yes, it had to be Syria. God damn it. I'm missing one because I'm at 5. No, I'm missing 2. Well, let's go back. Let me hit it again. Slovakia. So it was Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Iran, and there's 2 more I'm missing. But the reason behind these 7 countries is because the central bankers didn't have a foothold in their countries. And so this is their MO. If you think you're going to, and what got Gaddafi killed, can't forget that. He said that he want gold for his oil. We selling our oil for gold. I believe he wanted gold. But you can look that up yourself. It's anytime they try to nationalize resources, it's saying, well, yeah, he was saying, yeah, all oil and the profits of our oil should be for our people. And I believe he wanted, he also didn't want to deal with the Federal Reserve note. But anyway, and that's what got him made an example of. But this is their MO. All right?
Idea spreads. You'd keep Africa economically weak by making sure it never industrializes. Let them export raw materials, but never process them themselves. Control the mines, the oil fields, the rare earth minerals. Keep them selling cheap and buying expensive. If a country tries to break free and build its own industries, sabotage it. Place sanctions, destabilize its currency, fund local opposition, crash.
Now, this will get to the part about Trump. Now, Trump allegedly called Ibrahim, and asked him to come to America. And this is allegedly, because I wasn't sitting on the call, but allegedly he told Trump, he told him, I can't make it because I'm busy building my country. And Trump and his pride, so his response was to put sanctions on Burkina Faso. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if the sanctions went into effect yet, or if it will. I just have to wait and see. But a lot of this has already these list of points. They've tried most of them here for Burkina Faso. And, this it's not working. This is a sign of this man losing power. This is big. They tried assassination. They tried the coup. People ain't having it. They're united. Sure, they trying to somehow break them up. But, as far as I've heard, they've tried some of these methods and nothing has worked. All right. This man is losing his power. He's losing control.
Its economy. If that doesn't work, orchestrate a civil war. People can't build when they're too busy trying to survive. You'd make sure their education system produces workers, not innovators. Teach them history.
Now, in America, we have several civil wars. All right. Civil war, just a war between the people of the same state. But, right, we got Democrats versus Republicans. We got male versus female. And this is all civil. We're supposed to be a people. Well, I know what it is, but according to all the, one nation under God, remember, right? But everybody's at each other's throat. Right, this is why. That's how they keep control. They control through chaos. We control through law and order.
That glorifies their oppressors. Make them think their cultures are primitive. Their ancestors were savages. Their future depends on foreign approval.
Now, that's all we was taught. Oh, them Indians, them savages. They were savages. I don't know how we made it, but somehow we made it through them savages. Oh, it was rough in them frontier days. All that old stupid ass shit we had to sit and listen to these motherfuckers talk that, how great they was and how our people were slaves. Didn't do shit. And then come to find out, you learn all America was us. Everything that make America great is us. Right now to this day, the shit you enjoy, your AC, you women like to gad abroad. Yeah, thank a man for that, which y'all don't like to do. Because a man created them traffic lights. Keep your ass safe. Man created that, a black man, let's say it right, a so-called black man. Even the first automobile. The real McCoy, man, we was doing so much. Man, the Byzantine is nothing what they try to get you to believe. Byzantine was a highly technological empire that was global, all right? We were global. They won't tell you that. We were doing trade around, well, at least with the West. Because we knew our people was over here. We knew that the Northern Kingdom, for the Southern Kingdom that was still in the East, in their various parts, because we eventually took over all of Europe, Spain, and had parts of Africa. So, shit, Jake created an empire. The scholars call it Byzantine, but it was better than this. It was far exceeded this shit that we in today. They don't tell you that. They say, oh, the Dark Ages. Yeah, this is Dark Ages, and people were primitive. They didn't wash. They threw their shit out the window, and then the bubonic plague, it came. The bubonic, the bubonic plague did happen, and that's how the Most High weakened us to allow this white man a chance to come into power. You know, that bubonic plague helped Esau to come up. And get this, because I never got the truth in school. They told us, oh, everybody was nasty, and they just, no. I bet you probably when they took Esau out them caves and tried to clean him up, he infected everybody with his nasty ass, just like they did. They came over here, killed everybody with the smallpox. And was it the small? Yeah. So when they first came, and then they said, you know what? We can use the smallpox to kill off like Columbus and them did. But we can put it in blankets and give it to the natives. You know, they was taking a page out of Columbus' book, which they wasn't trying it. I mean, they didn't do it as a pretext or say, you know, we're going to go over there and kill these. We're going to kill the natives with sickness. No, they were just nasty disease-carrying people. And just being around them and being exposed to their germs and pathogens, you know, a lot of the Northern Kingdom just fell off. You know, they got sick and died. And that, again, helped them to rule. So, like I say, they didn't give us, I might go into a study on that, on the bubonic plague, but I know that came from Esau. We was not dirty and unclean people. You probably had that element in certain places, but I guarantee you it was the places where Esau was. Because a lot of our people, which they are today, back, you're talking about, you know, in the Renaissance time, at the fall of the Byzantine Empire, and you know, them coming into their rebirth, talking about the so-called white man. You know, at that time, a lot of our people was Muslim, just like today. And you know, the Muslim, they watch 2-3 times a day. Some of them. And shit, you know us, for the, at least, well, for the Christians, you know, just Jake is clean. Overall, we don't even like being dirty. You know? We ain't a dirty people, but that's neither here nor there. Let's finish this out.
Train them to memorize, not to think critically. Keep their best and brightest looking overseas.
Oh shit, she said teach them to memorize.
Not to think critically.
Not to think critically.
Keep their best. Advise their oppressors. Make them think their cultures are primitive. Their ancestors were savages. Their future depends on foreign approval. Train them to memorize, not to think critically. Keep their best and brightest looking overseas for opportunities. Make them dream of escaping Africa rather than fixing it. Offer scholarships that take their top minds to the West and never encourage them to return.
Bam, now that's goddamn boy, that's that's Esau. All right. Yeah, that's some clever shit right there. You never think about it. So they did my cousin like that. Got a scholarship to go to study, I guess. Study. He's a chef, so he went over to Paris around the time of the Olympics to study, further his endeavor, if you will, into the culinary arts. So I know this for a fact. This is what they do. So he got to go over there to study culinary skills or the culinary arts, which ain't nothing. That's good. I'm proud of him. That's good. That's nothing wrong with that. But I didn't know that was a strategy. So now, there's more and more coming out. So these are some of the strategies that they use. So they'll take the best and the brightest. They give them these, or offer them these scholarships. But then what come with the scholarship? Indoctrination. So they're killing two birds with one stone. They're removing a light from among the dead so they still will never see. And then they taking that light and using it for their purpose. When they get you in their school, they gonna indoctrinate you. So man, yeah, this
Let the continent
devil's
keep training
something else.
doctors and engineers only for them to go enrich other nations. You'd control their narratives.
How many doctors you see from foreign? They either from Africa or they from India. Majority of them. Sometimes you see them, I said India. Asian. Sometimes you see them Asian, but a lot of time, at least here in Texas, you see a lot of ham and a lot of Elam. Yeah, the East Indians. Yep, Elam. You got Jake doctors, but you don't see them that much. And now I know why.
Them to return. Let the continent keep training doctors and engineers only for them to go enrich other nations. You'd control their narratives. Own their media, control their stories, dictate their image to the world. Make them believe they are corrupt, hopeless, eternally in crisis. Flood their screens with poverty porn and war zones. Show them charity ads that make them believe they are helpless without foreign aid. Downplay their successes. Twist their victories into isolated incidents. If an African country develops a groundbreaking innovation, credit a foreign investor. If an African leader implements a successful policy, frame it as an anomaly rather than proof of competence. You'd make sure they remain dependent. Drown them in debt. Offer loans.
And get this. Here in America, they even do Esau like that. All right? These guys come up with these great inventions. Shit. They take them out. Stanley Myers, who built the car, run on water, poisoned him. They just let Tesla just grow old and die after they destroyed most of destroyed his work. The Wardenclyffe Tower, was that in Jersey? I believe it was in Jersey. But it was a wireless power transmitter. I don't know how far it transmitted, but it would have gave most of Jersey, maybe all, power without fucking telephone poles and strings running everywhere. You see? So they even do this to Esau. This is foreign policy. And the elite Edomites don't see these Babylonian Edomites as one of them. And again, George Carlin is one big club, and we ain't in it.
Impossible conditions. Force them to privatize everything so foreign corporations own their water, their electricity, their land. When they struggle, give them just enough aid to keep them alive, but never enough to make them self-sufficient. Use charities to create a culture of reliance. If you wanted to stop...
So that's it. You know, I didn't have much scriptures, but this is yeah. This is the point right here, Habakkuk 2. We went into 5. Let's hit 5 again, then we'll go into 6. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Right, he cannot be satisfied. That's why he want to put a chip in you, because he cannot be satisfied. Who thinks of that? That's the ultimate power freak, to want to chip somebody. You really got control issues. I mean, it's off the charts, off the rails. But it says, right, and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. And we just seen how he does it. All right. He does it through oppression, through these wicked and evil, underhanded schemes to keep the people either too busy to recognize what he's doing, or too divided and them fighting each other to see what it is that they're doing. But yeah, it says, heapeth unto him all people, well, gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? What is for Africa is for Africa. All right? Now, that's the proverb that they're taking up at Burkina Faso. But the overall message is, as the elders said back in the day, Yankee, go home. All right? They're just sick of this man. They're just sick of him, man. And what is there to love about a narcissistic, parasitic, evil, conniving, malicious motherfucker? What's to love about him? You know, verse 6, shall not all of these take up a parable against him? Right. Cracker, go home. Get the fuck out of our country. And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which is heavy depth, aibatyat. Thick clay goes back to the Hebrew word aibatyat, which is heavy depth. Right? He laded himself with heavy debt. He calls it credit. When you get a line of credit from somebody, they're loaning you something. They're giving you something. You're in their debt. And so this is the system. The current financial system is credit based. That's why you keep your credit score. And that's how you obtain things here in Babylon. Through credit. All right, that's debt based. So he laded himself with heavy debt, thick clay. All right, and that's the very currency that he uses is debt. People still haven't awakened to that fact. Now, the credit game, you could use it to your favor, which I didn't know how. But, you know, now Now I know how to do it. I ain't got time for that shit. You know? But it's a downside to it. So you can make the system work for you, depending if it's a way to make it work. It's a way you can make it work, or it can work against you. This system of credit. All right. But yeah, but that was it in a nutshell. It said in verse 7, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. This time is coming. All right. This time is coming. And we're going to close out in Lamentation 4. We'll go to 21. And it says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. All right. Rejoice and be glad. That one time you had the world, now you're losing it, but still rejoice and be glad the Most High gave you that time. He didn't even have to give you that little time. All right, Revelation 12:12 say he know that he hath but a little time. Well, rejoice and be glad you got that. All right? Because, the Lord ain't have to give you that. So rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. All right? And that's what's happening right now. He's being made naked. All right? He's beginning to be drunken and to be exposed. And it said, verse 22, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. All right? And we're in that time. All right? We're in the Edomite exposing season. And after the exposing comes the downfall. And with that, to the next one, Shalom.